If you're in Seattle, and you need to buy or sell a home, we'll be right there for you. Because we're the realtors that you can trust. So go to ronanddonsitdown.com.
You're listening to The Ron and Don Show on the Ron and Don Radio Network.
Hey, you guys, what's going on? Happy Friday, if this is out on Friday. This is out whenever Matt gets out of bed and feels like throwing it up. Anyway, today's show is sponsored by TeamLisa.com. That's TeamLisa.com. For all your mortgage needs, it's TeamLisa.com. Ron is not here today. Josh is back. Josh Kearns, and of course, you know him from Cairo Radio, and you also know him from what pickleball? You're involved with some kind of pickleball company around here, right?
Well, I am involved with Side Out Tsunami Pickleball Center, which is 26 courts in South Seattle, largest in the Northwest. Advisor helped develop that. But I'm also the Chief Marketing and Member Officer for the International Association of Pickleball and Padel Facilities. We are truly a trade association to promote the growth and the long-term viability of pickleball as an industry so that people have places to play.
Yeah. So the cool thing is Josh is a great storyteller. And also, are you a pretty good pickleball player now? I haven't seen you play.
You know what it's like, all things done? I'm better than some people and a lot worse than others.
I tell you, you do a great job telling the story of pickleball and getting people involved. And when you're at Cairo Radio, you did a great job of telling people stories. I want to take a moment today and talk about someone by the name of Karen. And, of course, her name's really not Karen. Karen was one of our listeners at Cairo. And, in fact, we had talked about on last week's show, we had talked a story about a dog and a little girl in an oxygen tank, and she had reached out about that story, and that's the way that I met her. So we've been friends on Facebook for years and years and years, and she was married, and we'll just say to someone named Dave. And as they got older and their kids got older, she had reached out at some point because Dave had gone into a real depression. They lived over on the east side, and she's like, you know what? I am in a position right now where I feel like, as we get older, we all feel this, like my minutes and moments are slipping by.
Yeah.
I want to get him help, but he doesn't want help. And I feel like I'm in a situation now where I need to exit this relationship. But in exiting the relationship, I need to exit this home that we own together. But I don't know any of the numbers on the home. He pays all the bills. And we see that a lot sometimes with older couples where one side will kind of pay all the bills and then the other person manages the house. Believe it or not, sometimes it's the woman that pays all the bills and the man manages. Is it that way for you as well?
Yes.
Yeah. So everyone thinks there's a traditional model, and there's really not. She had reached out the other day because we helped her. We actually helped, and Dave I love. I've met him. I got to know him. We helped him get some help. I think they were in a position where them no longer being together actually made his life blossom, and it certainly has made hers. And I'll have to show you some pictures of her on Facebook with her daughter and some of the stuff that she's doing. But I think they were at the end of a cycle as far as their marriage goes. I think it's really dumb that people think because you went through a divorce that you went through a failed marriage, especially when you look at the quality of the years they had together, the children that they had together, who their kids have become today, and that's to be celebrated. And sometimes at the end of 25 years, or I think they're at 27, that's kind of the end of that cycle. Some other people can keep going, and in their case they couldn't. She had reached out because she was looking for a home, and we found her a home here up in North Seattle. And we had to buy a much smaller home than she had on the east side. And then her concern was about doing a lot of the work on the house. And she's like, I don't know if I can do a lot of the work. And I said, you can do a lot of work. I said, in the age of YouTube, you can do a lot of work. When you need an electrician, a plumber, if you need a roofer, I'm going to send those people over, which I did. The electrician, the plumber, the roofer. I said, you have the money from the other home to go ahead and repair these things on this. But when it comes to painting, or when it comes to just getting out kind of a chop saw and doing some work around the house, I said, you have the ability to do that because of everything that's on the internet and because of YouTube today. And I try doing stuff all the time that I completely can't do, but I give it a shot. And sometimes it's horrible, and sometimes it works out. Anyway, I have to say, she wrote me a letter the other day. And the letter was very extensive. But she said, thank you. She's at the end of the letter, she said, thank you for giving me the courage to continue my story. She said, I listened to you and Ron on the radio for years, and I always trusted you and the stories that you told. And there was always such hope in those stories. And I was wondering if there would be hope in my story. And she said, it's really interesting that you gave me hope when I listened to you on the radio. And then through your real estate business, we were able to connect in a different way and provide hope to my life and fuel to my life once again, which is really a beautiful thing. I say all this to say that, and Josh, I know you probably feel the same way because you were a reporter with us for years. We're sitting in a podcast studio right now in Ballard, and we have these microphones on, and it's basically you and I talking, and Matt is staring at us, and we're not live, and we have no idea if anyone is listening to us or not, or even going to listen to this. You kind of have a hope and a prayer, and you think. The interesting thing is when you push away from these microphones now, and what we get to do through our real estate business, because I'd say 40-50% of the people that hire us, they hire us because of the Ron and Don show or the connection. When you get to go out and meet people like Karen and meet people like Dave and get involved in their story, I'm so glad that we sat in a radio studio here at Kyle Radio for almost 15 years, and now we get to leave those chairs and actually go out to the people that have been listening. And I have to say, we never talk politics. It's never about being on the right or left. It is always about humanity. It's always about the causes that we are involved in. Many of them contributed to these causes. And I have to say, in the world of pickleball, have you found that to be true? I think we get so in our lane sometimes. If you just sit there and you're like, well, I'm a CNN person, or I'm a Fox person, or I'm a MS Now person. Politicians love for us to be divided. Of course. But through the power of our radio show and real estate, we've been able to bring people back together. And you've been able to do that through the power of pickleball as well, right? The power of a story.
That is the magic. And it's universal. Well, there is such an underlying DNA to pickleball that it is truly inclusive. This is not lip service. There is something about it in a way that I have not experienced with any other activity in my life, except the recovery community, where everybody is welcome, everybody is welcoming, everybody is nurturing, everybody will help. That is the magic, the secret sauce of pickleball. It is not about going like that. It transcends the actual hitting of the ball.
Where's this going to go? Because for the first time, and the reason I bring it up, we'll look in listings, and we don't see tennis courts anymore. It's either we have a pickleball court or we have a pickleball court nearby is what you see in listings. It's all about having a dog wash, like the dog wash. Everybody wants a dog wash. Where can I have a dog wash on my property, or where can I wash my dog? Because everyone got a dog or a doodle during the pandemic. And you told me that's where pickleball, it's been born since the 60s, but people really fell in love with it, and now they want to live in a home where they live, work, and play, where they can wash their dog, play with their dog. Where's the dog park? But also, we no longer hear about tennis courts, we hear about pickleball courts.
No, you see, I'll go, Jamie Foxx, famous movie star, he's got 2 pickleball courts in his backyard.
Is that right?
And they're pretty opulent or more grand, but people come from all over the area to play at his place.
That's great.
I personally do not want a pickleball court in my backyard because there are noise issues. We can talk about that some other time. But no, we will see it continue to grow. Yeah. Hopefully, the parks departments, Ingram High School is a great example you mentioned, because they had these tennis courts. They resurfaced them. They put pickleball lines on half of the 8 tennis courts that are there, or the whatever. We will see the continued growth of pickleball. Hopefully, it will continue to be accessible. There is a huge flood of capital into it. Yeah. More and more pickleball facilities are being developed. Some of them are not going to make it because they have crappy leases. They went in thinking they're going to get rich. It's like trying to get rich on a restaurant. But we're going to continue to see the growth. There will be more access. Don, we have 500 members all over the country. Bozeman, Montana. Columbus, Ohio. I'm working with a woman I'm consulting, Alpharetta, Georgia, out in suburban. It's everywhere. It is not going away. And you can try and stop it, or you can ignore it, but it's going to be going on in your neighborhood no matter what.
Yeah, I'm really amazed when we watch people downsize or right size as they get older, because we deal with a lot of boomers parents, and the parents of those parents. So it's interesting, because at one point in your life, you either start looking like your grandparents. I go back and look at my grandparents when they were 40.
They were old, right?
And they look so old.
Yeah.
But they stopped moving, right? You stopped moving. You sat around, you visited, you had some cocktails, you smoked a cigarette, and they certainly weren't playing pickleball. I look at our clients that are, like, I have a friend that's a cop, and they left here. They're down in the desert town. They live down in Mesa, and that's all they do is they're down there playing golf, or they're down there playing pickleball, or they're down there visiting the church. And when you see him, he doesn't look like a senior citizen to me, because people keep moving, and everyone's talking about, how do I keep moving? Longevity, and it seems like this is connected to longevity, because
1,000%.
Because people want to take injections for longevity. I think the important thing is, when you look at the 6 blue zones, like a place like Sardinia around the world, these people aren't taking injections. These people are moving.
No, they walk 10 miles a day. You know what they say? Racket sports and pickleball falls into that 15. They say scientifically 15 years added to your life.
Is that right?
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Yeah, and you're saying, like, I have friends that are my age and older. They'll go out and decide, you know what, I'm going to start playing some basketball. And then they blow out their Achilles. Or I'm going to start playing some tennis. And then they blow out the other Achilles.
Or you just can't do it, right? I mean, you sit there and flail. And after about 10 minutes, you're like, screw this. I can't do this.
Yeah. Anyway, I think that's totally cool when we're looking at listings of houses now, and we see pickleball courts, or people are looking for pickleball courts in their community, and where can we go play? Final question on this.
Sure.
How did Ingram know to do that? How did they know? And do the schools get to make those decisions?
School leadership, somebody must have gone to the district, because that is not universal.
It's not. Okay.
No, it takes the community asking for, and then I assume it was a principal and parents who said, you know what, we have budget, we're going to do this, and we're going to add the pickleball lines, which does not affect tennis one iota. So it's really, I think, go talk to your school, because that's an underutilized resource in this community. Is the schools, because the Parks Department ain't going to do it.
They're not going to do it. Yeah, and there's schools in every neighborhood.
Yeah.
And there's playgrounds in every neighborhood.
And guess what? We all paid for it.
Yeah.
Go get pickleball.
I have to say, I've been going up to Ingram for a long time, and when they didn't have those pickleball courts there, the tennis courts just sat there.
Of course.
And now you go up there, and at morning, noon, and night, and people have their rackets hung on the fence, and we talked about this earlier on the show. You're out there creating community. And again, it doesn't matter whether you're 27 years old or 70 years old. When you're standing in line waiting to play, you don't have to show up with a partner. You don't have to show up with 4 people, right? You can just show up and play. So.
But the one thing I want to say, this is not an either or. Go play tennis. We will encourage it. We'll share. We can all share. We can. It's the, what is it? Scarcity versus abundance.
Yeah.
There's plenty for all.
You can do both. Yeah. Anyway, super cool. Hey, you guys, thanks for listening to the Real Estate Only podcast today. A little different because Ron is not here, but our good friend Josh Kearns is here. And that's the cool thing about real estate is when you're buying a home, also think about around that home. Where am I going to live, work, and play? How are we going to use this piece of real estate? How would other people use this piece of real estate if we exit this piece of real estate and decide to sell and go somewhere else? And I have to say, those kind of neighborhood amenities have become very, very important to people. Those neighborhood amenities, especially since people now they've walked away from condos. Condos are really hard. People are like, hey, LA's booming, but we're having a hard time selling condos. A lot of these amenities, sometimes you would see in condo buildings, people are not buying condos because insurance is so high. And I shared this before. Ever since the Champion collapse down in Florida, you have to have a lot more reserves now, meaning you have to hold money back. You can't allow buildings to have deferred maintenance or be in disrepair. You can't. And then when it comes to insurance on these buildings, we just had someone probably around my mom's age, close to my mom's age, in the 80s. We just sold her condo over in Ballard. We were able to sell it because it was ground floor, had a courtyard, had a lot of great things going for it. But it also had people there were looking for the commons down the street. It's also the walkability of it. And I think a Seattle firefighter ended up buying this particular condo. But the reason why she moved out is she's like, I can't afford the HOA on this anymore. I just can't afford it. So it's become very, very important as people are finding other places to live, work, and play, or even rent. We're seeing a lot of older people now decide to rent, which actually can be a very good idea. I don't always tell people that buying a piece of real estate is the smartest thing to do when you're 82 years old. Maybe the best thing to do on a fixed income is to go rent a great place and live a great life, and don't worry about leaving your kids anything behind. And in the meantime, what's the oldest pickleball player that you know of?
Joyce Jones is a woman here in Seattle. She's in the Guinness Book of World Records. I think she's 94 or 95 now.
way.
She is still here. She still plays. You'll run into her at the Northgate Community Center or Jefferson. She plays around the country, and she laments that she's running out of partners. But she's still going. Look her up, Joyce Jones on Facebook. She is an inspiration to us all.
I love that. We'll finish with this. Cher was asked not too long ago. They're like, they asked her, "Why do you date so many young men?" She goes, "Well, because all my partners are dead." This is true. Start with the Allman Brothers. Yeah. All right, you guys. TeamLisa.com for all your mortgage needs. TeamLisa.com. That's with a Y. TeamLisa.com. Yeah, and we're in the Team Lisa studios today. Ron will be back next week. Our thanks to Josh Kearns for being here. People want to get in touch with you and learn more about the game of pickleball. How can they do that?
Josh at IAPPF.org. IAPPF.org.
Yeah, thanks to Gunnar O'Neill for being our station voice, a 7-year-old version of him. Charlie the dog, of course, is our mascot. Matt on the mic, off the mic, and I want to thank him for producing today's show. And also, I never thank me.
That's Jets as well.
Yeah, want to thank me for being
Hey, Don. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. He's Josh. I'm Don. In the meantime, keep your head up and shoulders back, and you listen to the Ron and Don Show on the Ron and Don Radio Network.
Well, that's it. Show's over. We'll see you next time on the Ron and Don Radio Network.